सर्वेभ्यो नमस्काराः। वन्देतं मदवारणेन्द्रवदनं मद्भागधेयाकृतिं शुण्डादण्डसुचालनेन जगतां मायान्तरायामयान् विद्राव्य प्रणतिप्रसन्नहृदयो योऽनुक्त एव स्वयं रक्षत्यन्वहमात्मनोति बिरुदं वैद्येशपुत्राभिधम्. So we were in the katha of Bhasuraka and a Shashaka. Bhasurakakhya-simha-katha, Kashchana Simha. So a lion called Bhasuraka and a Shashaka. We started with the story. Quickly do a punaravartana and continue. Kasmimshchit vane Bhasurako nama simha prativasati sma athasau viryatirekan nityameva anekan mriga shashakadin vyapadayan nopararama. अधान्येद्युस्तद्वनजनाः सर्वे सारंगवराह महिषशकादयो मिलित्वा तमभ्युपेत्य प्रोचुः. So वीर्यातिरेकात्, because of too much power, he was too arrogant and started never stopped with his killing spree. He went on killing. He had no limit to that. Mriga shashakadin vyapadayanna upararama, never stopped. So one day saranga varaha mahisha shashakadaya. So all the way creatures that lived in the forest, the deer, wild boars and buffaloes and hares, they went and met the king. Swamin kimanena sakala mrigavadhena nityameva yatastavaikenapi mrigena triptirbhavati tatpriyatam asmabhi saha samaya dharmaha. So please let us have a contract. Let us draw up a contract so that you will be happy with one mriga per day, not more than that. Adya prabhriti tavatropavistasya jatikramena pratidinam eko mrigo bhakshanartham sameshyati. Evam krite tavatavat pranayatra klesham vinapi bhavishyati. So your sustenance will happen without much klesha. Asmakancha punaha sarvochhedanam nasyad. And we will also be protected. Our sarvochheda won't happen. We will not be finished once and for all. Tadesha rajadharmaha anushtiyatam. And this is indeed the rajadharma. So when there is an arrogant king, the people don't just put up with him just because he has inherited power. Okay, it does not happen like that. That is what this katha is showing us. That it need not be the case. It need not have been the case in the olden days as well. That is just because it is a monarchy that people were always oppressed and they'll have to bear through that. No. People had a knowledge of Rajadharma. So that is why they go up to the king and they give Rajadharmopadesha to the king. So it was within the hands of common people to do that. Shanaish-shanaishchayo rajyam upabhunkte yathabalam rasayanamiva pragyaha sapushtim paramam vraje. So according to one's ability and gradually, okay, he does not do it it has gone over his head and the same day he wants to be reckless. The one who is not reckless and enjoys his kingdom gradually, slowly, like consuming a rasayana, saha paramam pushtim braja. So he is nourished. That king becomes poshita. He becomes pushta. Ruksha vidhina mantrayuktena rukshapi mathitapi cha prayachati phalam bhumir araniva hutasana. So mantrayuktena vidhina. So when an appropriate vidhi is employed, okay, ruksha mathita api bhumihi phalam prayachati. So even a dried up land, okay, when it is churned, it will give proper fruits. When like arani, okay, like arani gives hutashana, like the arani stick gives agni, when it is churned properly with the use of Veda mantras. Prajanam palanam shasyam swargakoshasya vardhanam pidanam dharmanashaya papaya ayashase sthitam. So prajanam palanam shasyam prashasyam. So it is worthy of being praised. It is laudable. Swargakoshasya vardhanam, Swargakhya-koshasya vardhanam, and prajanam pidanam on the other hand will result in dharma nasha, papa and ayashas, and the king will lose his kirti. He will get apakirti. So that is why Krishna when he tries to motivate Arjuna to fighting the war, he employs these strategies also. He says that akirtihi is something that a kshatriya should fear. Okay, so kshatriyas do not welcome akirti at all. That is why Krishna tells Arjuna that, oh Arjuna, you are saying that you do not want war, you do not want bloodshed, and out of your large heartedness you are leaving the battle, but your relatives are not going to think so. History will not remember you like that. Bhayad ranadu paratam mansyante tvam maharathaha bhutva yasyasi laghavam akirtim chapi bhutani kathayishyanti te vyayam sambhavitasya cha kirtihi maranadatirichyate. So the one who has akirti, okay, so that is worse than death for a kshatriya. So all this will happen to a king. This Shashaka, all these mrigas are reminding Bhasuraka. Gopalena prajadhenor vittadugdham shanaishanaihi palanat poshanadgrahyam nyayam mrityum samachare. So Gopala, how does he milk a cow? By palana and poshana, that comes first, and then he gradually enjoys the milk that the cow gives, right? Evameva nripenapi kartavyam ityupadeshaha. Ajamiva prajamohad yohanyat prithivipatihi tasyaika jayate druptir nadvitiya kathanchana. So the greedy king who is going to who is going to kill the golden egg laying goose. Okay, so Ajam Iva, like a female goat, the one who is going to sacrifice the goat, he will get tripti only once. Okay, Dvitiya Nabhavati, and he will not be able to enjoy more of what the Aja can give had she been alive, right? So there is a question. Ayashase is not a kriya pada mahodaya, it is a nama pada. Yashas shabda, ayashas, okay, chaturthi vibhakti. Okay, so it becomes ayashase. So ayashase sthitam means what? It is for ayashasa. Ayashas means what? It will result in ayashas. It will result in akirti. Kirthaha. It is for akirti. So if you do this, it is for that. Means what? That is what it will result in. That is what it is going to give. Astu. Phalarthi nripate lokan palaye yatnamasthitaha danamanaaditoyena malakaronkurani. So phalarthi nripatihi. So the king who is desirous of reaping good results. So he has to behave like a good gardener who will water his sprouts, right? Ankurana toyena malakaraha palayati. So by watering, by sinchana, right? He does regular watering of his sprouts. Evameva phalarthi nripatihi api dana mana adi toyena lokan palayati. So he has to offer water to the praja. What kind of water? Dana mana. Okay. Water in the form of dana and mana. So these two are equivalent to watering. So by honoring the praja and by giving them a lot of dana, lot of things that they require has to be given to them. Drupadipo dhanasneham prajabhyas samharannapi antarasthair gunai shubhrair lakshyate naiva kenachit. So Drupadipa. So how does the lamp called king sustain itself? How does the king sustain itself? It uses the oil. Drupadipaha dhanasneham prajabhyaha samharan. So it takes away dhana from praja and it sustains itself. So contrary to the popular opinion that a good king is the basis for a good praja, we see how it is presented here. On the other hand, it is not because of the king that the praja sustain, but it is because of the praja that the king sustains. Prajabhyaha samharan drupadipaha dhanasneham samharan vardhate. So it takes that and then it sustains and then grows. Right. Antarasthaihi gunaihi shubhraihi lakshyate naiva kenachit. So, but then if it had good qualities inside, Shubhraihi Gunaihi Antarasthaihi. So inside it, if it had fine qualities, nobody will notice that this king is actually sustaining by taking from the praja. On the other hand, it will appear that he is feeding the praja and he's doing a lot of good things and so on. It will appear like that, but the reality is that the praja is the reason why a king can sustain himself and can enjoy. So the praja is offering all the bhoga that the king enjoys. Yatha gaur duhyate kale palyate cha tatha prajaha sichyate chiyate chaiva lata pushpa phalaprada. So the way a cow is milked and taken care of at the right time. So at the time when it has to be taken care of and well fed, it is done. And when the time comes to milk and enjoy the result, which is the milk in case of the cow, evameva prajanam vishayepi kartavyam tatha prajaha pushpa phala prada lata kale eva sichyate chiyate cha. So when the time comes to water a creeper that gives flowers and fruit is watered, and then you can pick its flowers and fruits and enjoy. Kale sichyate, kale chiyate. Yatha bijankura sukshma prayatnena abhirakshitaha phalaprado bhavet kale tadval loka surakshitaha. So yatha sukshmaha prayatnena abhirakshitaha bijankuraha kale phalapradaha bhavet. So see, a small ankura, right? A small sprout, a seed, when well guarded, prayatnena abhirakshitaha kale phalapradaha bhavet. So in due course, it will yield fruits. Evameva surakshitaha lokaha, well protected praja that is well taken care of, yields results in due time. I think we have to start from here. हिरण्यधान्यरत्नानि यानानि विविधानि च तथान्यदपि यत्किञ्चित् प्रजाभ्यस्यात् महीपतेः. हिरण्यधान्यरत्नानि यानानि विविधानि च तथान्यदपि यत्किञ्चित् प्रजाभ्यस्यात् महीपतेः. हिरण्यधान्यरत्नानि यानानि विविधानि च तथा अन्यदपि यत्किंचित् प्रजाभ्यः स्यात् महीपतेः. Again, the same idea that the praja gets, so it is because of the praja that the king gets all these things. What are they? Hiranya dhanya ratnani, so gold, dhanya, and all kinds of gemstones, vividhani, ratnani, yanani, different kinds of yanas, vahanas, vehicles, tathacha anyat yatkinchidapi, whatever it is that the king enjoys, sarvamapi prajabhyaha syad, it comes from the prajas. Yeah. So this again highlights another very important point, that the traditional organization and the system that prevailed, was not a system that made people extremely dependent on the government, on the king. It was not so. Okay. See, the India or any traditional society for that matter was there were classes of people, right? So there was always a jati, there was a group, and the jati mostly governed itself, did not have any problem. It governed itself. They were self-governing jati groups that were always there. And who are these rulers? Who are these kshatriyas? So kshatriyas are people who have a natural tendency for leadership and rulership. So in any society, such kind of people always try to grow up the ladder and they try to grab power, because that is in their swabhava. It is in their swabhava to rule, right? And to be a leader. They are natural leaders, and those we can identify with kshatriyas, right? So when these people went up the ladder and when they became the rulers, there was no we cannot see it. It was not like the people had a concrete need for these kshatriyas. It was not so. It was more like the kshatriyas benefited from the prajas, right? So that is when this raja dharma comes. So raja dharma is a samaya dharma, right? It is like an agreement between the praja and the kshatriya. When they follow the raja dharma, there is mutual benefit, so that kshatriya can blossom completely and can be a very good leader, right? See, a leader always needs the people whom he can lead, right? So without the people he leads, he cannot be a leader, right? So the very fact that he leader requires that there are some people who trust him and take his words and follow him and have respect for him, honor him, and so on, right? So, and these people, they also need a leader, and the leader also needs a group of people to lead. So that is how the relationship between the kshatriya and the praja work, where it is a symbiotic relationship. It is not a parasitic relationship. Okay? It is more or less, at least the ideal vision of the tradition is like that. There are people who have this natural tendency for power and leadership. So let them go there, and they have to abide by certain dharmas. They have certain regulations, and they have to follow this dharma, and only then they can grow. And these people will not be exploited. They can grow in their own ways, right? Because there are so many people. Not everybody is a leader. Right. So there are other people who have other kinds of subhavas, and that has to manifest. Only when that blossoms and manifests outside, they can be at harmony with themselves, right? So this kshatriya can facilitate it for the samaja. The samaja contributes to the kshatriya's growth, and kshatriya contributes to the samaja's growth. That's all. That is how it was envisioned. We can understand. So kshatriya is hugely benefited from the praja, and hence kshatriya who goes astray is reminded here by a good counsel. They are reminding that king that please do not go astray. Please think as to how is it that you are here? What is the reason for your sustenance? So please behave like a king and get your focus back on raja dharma is the upadesha. लोकानुग्रहकर्तारः प्रवर्धन्ते नरेश्वराः लोकानां संशयाच्चैव क्षयं यान्ति न संशयः लोकानुग्रहकर्तारः प्रवर्धन्ते नरेश्वराः लोकानां संशयाच्चैव क्षयं यान्ति न संशयः लोक अनुग्रह कर्तारः प्रवर्धन्ते नरेश्वराः लोकानां संशयात् च एव क्षयं यान्ति न संशयः. Pretty straightforward again. Loka anugraha kartaraha nareshwaraha pravardhante. So what is the growth trajectory of a king? The one who does loka anugraha, the one who pleases the people and keeps them happy, he grows. Lokanugrahakartaraha nareshwaraha rajanaha pravardhante. They grow. Lokanam sanshayat cha kshayam eva yanti. Atra samshayaha nasti. And by destroying the very source of their own sustenance, they perish. Lokanam sanshayat, because of the destruction of the people, swayam kshayam yanti. So they perish themselves, they kill themselves. Atra samshayaha nasti. There is no doubt here. So, listening to all this, athatesham tadvachanam akarnya bhasuraka aha aho satyam abhihitam bhavadbhihi param yadi mamopavishtasya atra nityameva naikaikako mrigas samagamishyati tannunam sarvanapi bhakshayishyami athate tathaiva pratignyaya nirvriti bhajaha tatraiva vane nirbhayah paryatanti atha tesham tadvachanam akarnya bhasurakaha aha aho satyam abhihitam bhavadbhihi param yadi mama upavishtasya atra nityam eva na eka ekaha mrigaha samagamishyati tan tat nunam sarvan api bhakshayishyami अथ ते तथा एव प्रतिज्ञाय निर्वृति भाजः तत्रैव वने निर्भयाः पर्यटन्ति. Then tesham tad vachanam akarnya. So having heard their words of wisdom, Bhasurakaha aha, Bhasuraka tells, aho satyam abhihitam bhavati. Oh yeah, it is fair. Whatever you have spoken is fair and it is the truth. I agree with you all. Param. But then, yadi mama upavishtasya atra. So, yadi atra upavishtasya mama. So, I am going to be seated here in my den. Right. So, mama upavishtasya atra nityameva ekaikako mrigaha na samagamishyati chet. So, every day, if one mriga, if he one by one, each day a mriga has to be coming to me and I will be seated here waiting for you in my den. If that does not happen, na samagamishyati chet, if you do not come, if the mriga does not come here, Noonam sarvan api bhakshayishyami. I am going to finish eating up you all. We'll finish you all. Then atha te tathaiva pratignyaya. So they all agree to this and do a pratignya. So pratignya here means they all agree and they give their word. Pratignyaya nirvriti bhajaha. So now they have got nirvriti. Now they are at peace. Nirvriti bhajaha tatraiva vane nirbhayav paryatanti. So now they can go around the forest freely. They don't have to be afraid that this Bhasuraka can come anytime and swallow me up. That's not going to happen. Nirbhayav paryatanti. Fearlessly they roam around the forest. Ekascha pratidinam kramena yati. Vriddho va, vairagya yukto va, shokagrasto va, putra kalatra nasha bhito va, tesham madhyat tasya bhojanartham madhyanha samaye upatisthate. Ekascha pratidinam ekahacha pratidinam kramena yati. Vriddha va, vairagya yukta va, shokagrastaha va, putra kalatra nasha bhitaha va, tesham madhyat tasya bhojanartham madhyanha samaye upatisthate. So pratidinam, every day, ekaha kramena yati. So one person, they have an order put up, right? From this jati. So today Amriga goes, tomorrow a Shashaka will go. Day after tomorrow Mahisha goes. So from jati kramena pratidinam ekaha gacchati. Simhasya samipam gacchati. So every day a particular an animal from some jati, okay, would go to the king. And who are these people? How are these people selected? Vriddhahava. It could be an old animal. Vriddhahava. Vairagya yuktahava. Or he can be full of vairagya. Right? Somebody who is not passionate about life at all. Who has lost interest in life. Who is not passionate about life. Vairagya yuktahava. Shokagrastaha. Or is, is overpowered by some kind of a shoka. Otherwise, putra kalatra nasha bhitaha, or somebody who is afraid of his family dying. Putra kalatra nasha bhitaha, mama putro marishyati, mama kalatram marishyati iti yasya chinta asti. So the one who is worried, because if he does not go and show himself up when his turn comes, Bhasuraka might come and finish off his clan. So somebody who is fearful about that. Among these four categories, Vriddha, Vairagya Yukta, Shokagrasta, or Putra Kalatra Nasha Bhita, among these, Tesha Madhyat, Tasya Bhojanartham, Kopi Madhyanha Samaye Upatisthate. So somebody shows up from this group. Atha kadachi jati kramacha shashakasya avasara samayataha. Sa samastam mrigaif prerito anichannapi mandam gatva tasya vadhopayam chintayan velatikramam kritva vyakulita hridayo yavad gacchati tavan marge gacchata upaha sandrushtaha. Atha kadachit jatikramacha. I am sorry. There is a question. Let me finish it off here. Putra kalatra nasha bhitaha. I think I just answered. Putrasya kalatrasya nashaha. Putrasya kalatrasya cha nashaha. So destruction of so losing one's own son or wife. Putra kalatra nashaha. Tasmad bhitaha, nashad bhitaha. So somebody who is fearful that his wife or son might die if he does not go and present himself to the king, right? Because the king, the angry king, might come and finish them all, right? Hope it is clear. Bhojanartham kopi tasya upatisthate. He presents himself before the king. अथ कदाचित् जातिक्रमात् च शशकस्य अवसरः समायातः सः समस्तमृगैः प्रेरितः अनिच्छन् अपि मन्दं मन्दं गत्वा तस्य वधोपायं चिन्तयन् वेला अतिक्रमं कृत्वा व्याकुलितहृदयः यावत् गच्छति तावत् मार्गे गच्छता कूपः सन्दृष्टः. So once upon a time, what happens? It is the turn of a hare. Shashakasya avasaraha samayataha. So Shashakasya avasara. Avasara for what? To show himself in front of the king for his bhojana. Saha samasta mrigaif preritaha. So he was sent. Preritaha. He was motivated and sent that it is your turn. You have to go. Preritaha, that you have, it is your turn has come, so please go. Okay, so preritaha choditaha ityarthaha, not exactly motivated, that is he was instructed, ordered by the other mrigas. Okay, see, there are other people, right? Says a vriddha will go off without much revolt or anything. Similarly, vairagya yukta can also go. And putra kalatra nasha bhita can also go, and shoka grasta can also go. Unfortunately, this Shashaka did not fall in any category, so anichanne api, he was not at all interested in this. Mandam gatva, so he walked very slowly. Tasya vadhopayam chintayan, so he started thinking about an upaya to finish off the king. Vadhopayam chintayan vela atikramam kritva. So he crossed the time. Okay? So he had to show up at a particular time. Wantonly, he did not show up at that particular time. He walked very slowly, dragged along. Vela atikramanam jatam. So he had crossed the time limit that was given. Vyakulita hridayaha, and he was very sad at heart. Yavad gachati. Evam sanne saha yavad gachati. So evam. So in this way, when he was walking, marge tavat marge gachata, when he was walking along the path, by him marge gachata anena shashakena kaschana kupa sandrishtaha. So he saw a kupa. So a well was seen by this Shashaka who was going. Gachata Shashakena. So Gachata here is a Shatru Pratyayanta word. Right? Pada. Shatru Pratyayanta pada. Gachan Gachanto Gachantaha. Gachantam Gachanto Gachataha Gachata. Tritiya Vibhakti Ekavachana Rupam. Gachata Shashakena. Idam Padam. Shashakena, Shashakasya Visheshana Rupena Prayuktam, Shashakapadasya Visheshana Rupena Prayuktam idam. Gachata Shashakena Kaschana Kupaha Sandrishtaha. So a well was seen by him. What happened? Yavat Kupo Pariyati Tavat Kupa Madhye Atmanaf Pratibimbam Dadarsha Drishtwachatena Hridaye Chintitam Yad Bhavya Upayosti. Aham Bhasurakam Prakopya Swabuddhyasmin Kupe Patayishyami. Yavati Kupo Pariyati Tavati Kupa Madhye Atmanaf Pratibimbam Dadarsha Drishtvacha Tena Hridaye Chintitam Yat Bhavyaha Upayaha Asti. Aham Bhasurakam Prakopya Swabuddhya Asmin Kupe Patayishyami. So when he walks on the well, okay, so there is a wall that surrounds the well, right? So he just goes around that and he sees his own reflection in the jala. Kupo pariyati tavati kupa madhye atmanaha pratibimbam dadarsha. He sees his own reflection. Drishtva ajatena hridaye chintitam. So having seen that, he thought in his mind, yad bhavyaha upayaha asti. Ha, what an upaya, what an idea. Bhavyaha uttamaha ityartha. An excellent idea I have now. Aham bhasurakam prakopya. I am going to anger Bhasuraka. and swabuddhya, using my buddhi, asmin kupe patayishyami, I am going to make him fall in this well. Patana, patana, right? Patami, patayami. Patami means to fall. Patayami, when you add rich, okay, it's a causative pratyaya. Like it will create a causative verb from pat. So I read. Aham pathami. Aham pathayami. I make someone to read. I teach. Ityarthe aham pathayami. Ityasya upayogah evameva. Aham patami. I fall. Aham patayami. I will make someone fall. Asmin kupe patayishyami. I will make someone fall. This litlakara pat dhatoho rich pratyayah. Pat iti dhatuhu nich yogena pat iti dhatuhu patai iti bhavati. Okay, patayami. Okay, so there is, so it becomes patayami. And lit lakara patayushyami. Athasau dinasheshe bhasuraka-samipam praptaha. Simhopi velatikramena kshutkshama-kantaha kopavishta srikkani parilelihan achintayat. Aho prataha aharaya nissatvam vanam maya kartavyam. Evam chintayataha tasya shashako mandam mandam gatva pranamya tasya agre sthitaha. So atha asau dinasheshe bhasuraka-samipam praptaha. Vel simhaha api velatikramena. So velatikramena kshutkshama-kantaha kopavishtaha kopa avishtaha srikkani parilelihan achintayat. Aho prataha aharaya nissatvam vanam maya kartavyam. Evam chintayataha tasya shashakaha mandam mandam gatva pranamya tasya agre sthitaha. So then atha asau shashakaha dinasheshe. So almost when it was evening, okay, he had to go in the afternoon, but then he shows himself up in the evening. Dinasheshe Bhasuraka-samipam praptaha. So he reached the place near Bhasuraka. Simhopi velatikramena kshutkshama-kantaha. He was already parched. Okay. He was very hungry. Opavishtaha, and he was extremely angry. Srikkani parilelihan. Srikkani refers to the corners of one's mouth. Okay. So Oshtha Pranta, so the corners of the mouth, the lip, so the end portion of the lips. Okay, here that is Srikkani. So he was licking his Srikkani. Srikkani parilelihan. Okay, he was licking the Oshtha Pranta and thought to himself, Aho, prataha aharaya. So for tomorrow morning's breakfast, prataha aharaya nissatvam vanam maya kartavyam. So I am going to make this vana nissatva. So sattva refers to a any jantu is called sattva, any living creature. I am going to finish off all the creatures in the forest and kill them all. Maya nissatvam kartavyam, vanamidam nissatvam kartavyam. I am going to make this forest devoid of any living being. Evam chintayataha tasya. So when he was thinking like this, near him shashakaha mandam mandam gatva pranamya. So he walked slowly. Mandam mandam gatva, he bowed down to him. Tasya agre sthitaha, and stood before him. Athatam prajwalitatma bhasurako bhatsayannaha re shashakadhama ekastavatvam laghuf praptaha parato velatikramena tadasmad aparadhat tvam nipatya pratas sakalanyapi mrigakulani uchchedayishyami. Atha tam prajwalitatma bhasurakaha bhatsayan aha re shashaka adhama ekaha tavat tvam laghuhu praptaha parataha vela atikramena tadasmat aparadhat tvam nipatya prataha sakalani api mrigakulani uchchedayishyami. He is too enraged. Prajwalitatma. He is lighting up with rage. Bhasurakaha bhatsayan aha. He threatened him and spoke. Re shashakadhama. You filthy hair. Okay. Adhama, Nicha, iti artha. See, ekastavat tvam laghuhu praptaha. See, you are coming here, you have crossed the time, and moreover, you are such a laghu prani. It's not that I have a buffalo on my list today that I can enjoy. But after all, a laghu prani, a shashaka. How much of, see, your meat is nothing to me. It will not at all satisfy my appetite, and that also you are late. Parataha velatikramena praptaha. Laghuhu praptaha bhavan. Tvam laghuhu. Parataha velatikramena. And also you have crossed your time, and this is the time you show up. Tasmat asmad aparadhat. And because of this aparadha of yours, tvam nipatya. After killing you, after having finished you up, tvam nipatya. Tvam patayitva. After I make you fall, I kill you. Prataha, tomorrow morning, my first agenda is Sakalanyapi Mrigakulani Uchcheda Ishyami. I am going to finish all the Mrigakulas. All the jatis are going to be done tomorrow. Atha Shashaka Savinayam Provacha Swamin Naparadho Mama Nacha Satvana Tat Shruyatam Karanam. Simha aha Satwaram Nivedaya Yavat Mamadam Shrantargato Nabhavan Bhavishyati. Atha Shashakaha Savinayam Provacha. Sorry, there is another question. Bhatsayan, Bhatsayati, Bhats Devadhatu. Bhatsayati. Atha Shashakaha Savinayam Provacha. So he humbly speaks. Swamin Naparadho Mama. This is not my fault. Nacha Satwanam. And nor is it the fault of the other creatures. Tachruyatam Karanam. So please listen to the reason as to why I am late. Simha aha Satwaram Nivedaya. Please make it quick. I don't have time. Yavat Mama Damshprantargato Nabhavan Bhavishyati. Please let me know quickly before I swallow you up and you are inside my damshtra. Okay, you are in. I swallow you up and I start using my teeth to finish you. Mama damshtra antargato nabhavan bhavishyati. Satwaram nivedaya. Please make it quick. Shashaka aha. Swamin samasta mrigaihi adya jatikramena mama laghutarasya prastavam vignaya tatoham pancha shashakai samam preshitaha. Tatascha aham agachan antarale mahata kenachid aparena simhena vivaran nirgatyabhihitaha uprasthitayuyam abhishtadevatam smarata. Shashakaha aha. Swamin samasta mrigaihi adya jatikramena mama laghutarasya prastavam vignaya tataha aham pancha shashakaihi samam preshitaha. Tataha cha aham agachan antarale mahata kenachit aparena simhena vivarat nirgatya abhihitaha kvaprasthitaha yuyam abhishta devatam smarata. Shashaka. So the hare says, Swamin samasta mrigaihi, by all the mrigas, adya jati kramena, today, according to the turn of the jati, mama laghutarasya prastavam vignaya. So I am I am after all a very small creature. Mama laghutarasya prastavam vignaya. So it was my turn and they mentioned that to me. Prastavam vignaya tataha aham pancha shashakai samam preshitaha. And because we are all really small beings, I was sent along with 5 other shashakas. Aham pancha shashakaihi samam preshitaha. Tatascha, then what happened? Aham agachanne antarale. So on my way antarale, in between, mahata kenachid aparena simhena. So by another huge lion, vivarati nirgatya abhihitaha. I was told by another huge lion after coming out of his den. So he spoke after coming out of his den. Vivara is a whole. It can see in case of a snake or a rabbit, it can be a small burrow. So in case of a lion, we can understand it to be a huge den. Right? Vivarat nirgatya guhayaha nirgatya abhihitaha. I was told. We were told rather. Uprasthitaha yuyam. Where are you all going? What are you up to? Abhishta devatam smarata. So you may now think of your favorite deity amidst your last moments. I'm going to finish you. ततो मयाभिहितं वयं स्वामिनो भासुरकसिंहस्य सकाशम् आहारार्थं समयधर्मेण गच्छामः ततः तेनाभिहितं यद्येवं तर्हि मदीयमेतद्वनं मया सह समयधर्मेण समस्तैरपि श्वापदैर्वर्तितव्यं चोररूपी स भासुरकः अथ यदि सोऽत्र राजा विश्वासस्थाने चतुरशशकान् अत्र धृत्वा तमाहूय द्रुततरम् आगच्छ येन यः कश्चिद् आवयोर्मध्यात् पराक्रमेण राजा भविष्यति सर्वान् एतान् भक्षयिष्यति इति ततः मया अभिहितं वयं स्वामिनः भासुरकसिंहस्य सकाशम् आहारार्थं समयधर्मेण गच्छामः ततः तेन अभिहितं यद्येवं तर्हि मदीयम् एतद्वनं मया सह समयधर्मेण समस्तैरपि श्वापदैर्वर्तितव्यं चोररूपी स भासुरकः अथ यदि सः अत्र राजा विश्वासस्थाने चतुरः शशकान् अत्र धृत्वा तम् आहूय द्रुततरम् आगच्छ येन यः कश्चित् आवयोः मध्यात् पराक्रमेण राजा भविष्यति सः सर्वान् एतान् भक्षयिष्यति इति सर्वान् एतान् भक्षयिष्यति इति ततः मया अभिहितं so then I told him वयं स्वामिनः भासुरकसिंहस्य सकाशम् आहारार्थं समयधर्मेण गच्छामः. So we are all going to our king Bhasuraka, our Swami Bhasuraka, because we have a deal with him. Samayadharmena gacchamaha. We have a contract dealing. So according to that, I am going. We are going. Tataha tena abhihitam. And then he said, Yadyevam. Oh, evam va. So is that so? Madiyam yetadvanam. This forest belongs to me. This vana is mine. Maya saha samayadharmena samastairapi shwapadair vartitam. So all shwapada refers to any wild being, okay, any creature, wild creature. Samastaihi shwapadaihi. So by all the vanapashus that are here, they have to be according to Samaya Dharma with me. They have to have a deal with me because this forest belongs to me. Maya saha Samaya Dharmena samastairapi shwapadaihi vartitavyam. They have to strike a deal along with me. Chorarupi sa Bhasurakaha. So Bhasuraka is a chora. He is not even a real king. Chorarupi sa Bhasurakaha. Atha yadi sotra raja. If he really claims that he is the king here, Vishwasasthane Chaturashashakan atra dhritva. So you please leave, 4 shashakas, 4 rabbits can stay here with me. Tam ahuya drutataram agacha. You please go and get him and come quickly. Tam ahuya. So calling him after having invited him. Bring him here quickly. Tam ahuya drutataram agacha. Yena, by this what can we do? Yaha kaschit avayoho madhyat parakramena raja bhavishyati. So let us do a parakrama pariksha here, and whoever out of one's own valor becomes a raja, saha sarvanetan bhakshayishyati, and he can enjoy all these rabbits for today. Tatoham tenadishta swami sakasham abhyagatah etad vela vyatikrama karanam tadatra swami pramanam tachhrutva bhasuraka aha bhadra yadyevam tat satvaram darshayametam chaurasimham yenaham mrigakopam tasyopari kshiptva swastho bhava uktancha ततः अहं तेन आदिष्टः sorry, two avagrahas have to be here because tena adishtah iti atra akarah asti. Tataha aham tenadishtah swami sakasham abhyagatah. So I have been ordered by him and I have come near you. Etad velavyatikkrama karanam, and this indeed is the reason for my delay. Velavyatikkrama karanam. Tadatra swami pramanam. Now swami may decide whatever has to be done. Tat shrutva bhasurakaha ahanu. Bhasuraka says, Bhadra, dear, yadyevam, if it is so, tat satvaram darshaya me tam chaurasimham. So tam chaurasimham ne satvaram darshaya. So immediately please show me that culprit. Okay. That he is the chaurasimha, not me. So he is the person who has who is not the real king. Chaurasimham me satvaram darshaya yena aham mridakopam tasyopari kshiptva. So I can, take out my anger on him. Mridakopam tasya upari kshiptva swastho bhavami. So I will throw my anger. So along with all the rage that I have built inside me, with all that, I will throw it on him, finish it off, and I will be free. Swastho bhavami. Uktancha. Bhumir mitram hiranyancha vigrahasya phalatrayam nastyekam api yadyesham vigraham na samacharet. Bhumir mitram hiranyancha vigrahasya phalatrayam nastyekam api yadyesham vigraham na samacharet. Bhumihi mitram hiranyam cha vigrahasya phalatrayam nasti ekamapi yadi yesham vigraham na samacharet. So vigrahasya phalatrayam bhavati. So there are three fruits of a war. So why should a person wage a war? If he can obtain either of these three, then it is worthy. Bhumihi, hiranyam, mitram. So if one can win over an ally, okay, mitra krute. Okay. Mitra here refers to a strategic partnership, a strategic friend. Okay, mitram, ally. Hiranya, gold, and bhumi, land. For all these three, vigraha is worthwhile. One can fight a war. Yadi yesham ekamapi nasti. So if either of these three are not there, even if one of these three is not there, if one can be sure that the war will not result in even one of getting either of these, okay, bhumi or mitra or hiranya, tarhi vigraham namasamachare. So then one should not go for a war. It is not at all a nice idea. Yatra na syat phalam bhuri yatra cha syat parabhavah na tatra matiman yuddham samutpadya samacharet. Yatra bhuri phalam na syat yatra na syat phalam bhuri yatra cha syat parabhavah na tatra matiman yuddham samutpadya samacharet. And this is, where should one initiate a war? Samutpadana. Samutpadana means to start a war by oneself, not in the way of defending one's country when he is under attack, but starting a war. So going on offense. When can one do that? When should one not do that? Yatra bhuri phalam nasyat. So when the fruit of the war is not very specific, okay, that this much can be obtained, this can be done, then that cannot be ascertained. Yatra parabhavaha cha syat, or where there is definite humiliation or defeat, okay, in such a case tatra samutpadya matiman yuddham na samacharet. So in that situation, samutpadya, so having initiated the war, a wise person does not go and fight such a war. He does not initiate and fight such a war where there is not much of a clear result that is to be obtained, and when there is a clear case, when it is a clear case of humiliation or being defeated, in that case one should not be in a hurry and hastily start off a vigraha. That is not recommended. Shashakaha ah Swamin satyamidam स्वभूमि हेतोः पराभवाच्च परिभवाच्च युध्यन्ते क्षत्रियाः परं स दुर्गाश्रयः दुर्गान् निष्क्रम्य वयं तेन विष्कम्भिताः ततो दुर्गस्थो दुस्साध्यो भवति रिपुः उक्तं च। शशकः आह स्वामिन् सत्यम् इदं स्वभूमि हेतोः परिभवात् च युध्यन्ते क्षत्रियाः परं सः दुर्गाश्रयः दुर्गात् निष्क्रम्य वयं तेन विष्कम्भिताः ततः दुर्गस्थः दुस्साध्यो भवति रिपुः उक्तं च। So Shashaka says Swamin Satyamidam. It is indeed true. Swabhumi hetoho paribhavat cha yudhyante kshatriyaha. See, Kshatriya fights for the sake of one's territory, for the sake of one's bhumi, and also when he is humiliated by an enemy. When there is a paribhava, then his anger rises up and then he wants to go and take a revenge, and then he starts a war. Paribhavat cha yudhyante kshatriyaha param. Swami, but you please remember that he is not an ordinary lion. He is he lives in a fortress. Okay? He lives in a durga. Okay, so a durga is a protected place, right? A durga is a protected place from where a person in the durga always in a fortified location always has an advantage over a person who fights on a battleground, right? Durgat nishkramya vayam tena vishkambhitaha. And see, and he has sent us out of the fortress. Durgat nishkramya vayam tena vishkambhitaha. So he has actually stopped us, detained us, right? And he has sent us out of the fort, and now we are powerless. Tataha durgasthaha dusadhyo bhavati ripu. So a durgastha ripu, okay, a ripu, an enemy who is inside a fort, okay, he is dusadhya. Dusadhya here means he is very difficult to be subdued. He cannot be won over. Vai uktancha chasyat in the previous verse. If there is no space, you can have a space here. They are two different words, Mahoday. I will correct that and upload when I am uploading the notes. Uktancha न गजानां सहस्रेण न च लक्षेण वाजिनां तत्कृत्यं साध्यते राज्ञां दुर्गेणैकेन विग्रहे न गजानां सहस्रेण न च लक्षेण वाजिनां यत्कृत्यं सिद्ध्यति राज्ञां दुर्गेणैकेन विग्रहे. Again, straightforward. Vigrahe, yuddhe, yekena durgena yat krityam rajñam siddhyati. So that which can be accomplished. Okay. Vigrahe, yekena durgena yat krityam rajñam siddhyati athava sadhyate. So that which can be accomplished by kings by the virtue of having just one fort, staying inside a fort and then attacking the enemy, tatu gajanam sahasrena na siddhyati, lakshena vajinam na cha siddhyati. So that cannot be accomplished even when you employ 1,000 elephants or laksha horses in the forest, in the yuddha. Maybe you can lose them all, but you are not going to be sure, sure of being victorious. But then if you stay in the fort, that can happen. Shatame kopi sandhatte prakarastho dhanurdharaha tasmad durgam prashamsanti niti shastra vichakshanaah shatamekopi sandhatte प्राकारस्थो धनुर्धरः तस्माद् दुर्गं प्रशंसन्ति नीतिशास्त्रविचक्षणाः शतम् एकः अपि सन्धत्ते प्राकारस्थः धनुर्धरः तस्मात् दुर्गं प्रशंसन्ति नीतिशास्त्रविचक्षणाः एकः प्राकारस्थः धनुर्धरः. One archer who stays inside a prakara, inside the fort. Okay. Shatamapi sandhatte. So he can encounter even 100 soldiers who are outside, who are not inside the protection of a fort. Tasmat niti shastra vichakshanaha durgam prashansanti. And that is why niti shastra vidwans, niti shastra vichakshanas praise and stress upon the importance of being in a fort. Pura guros samadeshat hiranyakashipor bhayat shakrena vihitam durgam prabhavad vishwakarmanah. Pura guros samadeshat hiranyakashipo bhayat शक्रेण विहितं दुर्गं प्रभावाद् विश्वकर्मणः. पुरा गुरोः समादेशात् हिरण्यकशिपोः भयात् शक्रेण विहितं दुर्गं प्रभावात् विश्वकर्मणः. So pura, in the olden times, what happened? Hiranyakashipoho bhayat. So fearing an attack from Hiranyakashipo. Guroho samadeshat. So on being instructed by the Deva Guru Brihaspati, Vishwakarmanaha prabhavat. And because of the power or the skill of Vishwakarma, Shakra created a fortress. Indra established a Durga. Shakrena Durgam Vihitam. Tenapi cha varodatto yasya Durgam sabhupatihi. Vijayi syat tato bhumau durgani syussahasrashaha. Tenapi cha varodatto yasya durgam sabhupatihi. Vijayi syat tato bhumau durgani syussahasrashaha. Apicha tena varaha dattaha. So at that time, when he built a fort for himself, then he gave a boon. Okay, tena, kena, shakrena, kaschana varaha dattaha. Indra conferred a boon. Yasya durgam asti. So whoever possesses a Durga and whichever king possesses a fortress, saha bhupatihi vijayi syat. He shall win no matter what. So just by the power of staying inside a Durga, he will win no matter other strengths or weaknesses, does not matter here. So that was a boon that was conferred by Indra. So this is just to highlight the importance of having a fort and to emphasize how, so as much as possible, a king must not leave his territory and go and declare war somewhere else, or to, let us say, this person, for no reason, without having any surety that he will win the war, he will get the territory, or he will get an ally. Without being sure of these things, one cannot go on offense. Okay, to go on offense means to invade somebody else's territory where the other king will remain in his fort and he has to fight from outside. And in order to do that, one has to be really, really wise, and he has to have thought about so many parameters and only then go on offense. Otherwise, it is not advised. So the importance of fort and a fort being the very boon of Indra, all these are only to emphasize and highlight its importance. Tataha bhumo sahasrashaha durgani syuhu. So afterwards, after Indra gave this boon, so many Durgas came up on this earth. Tataha, then bhumo sahasrashaha durgani syuhu. So many forts came up on this bhuloka after this episode. I think we can stop here for today. We'll take questions tomorrow. Not many questions on the chat box. So we will continue tomorrow. समापयामः। हरिः ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम। नमस्काराः।